Hello everyone, welcome back to Changfied YouTube channel, your trusted source for latest updates across South Sudan and beyond. Today we bring you a very serious and important update about South Sudan. This is not just about politics. This is about peace. This is about security. This is about elder care. And this is about human life. In today's report, we will discuss the United People Alliance saying it is ready for new peace talk in Kenya, but with condition. Second, we will talk about over 400 ceasefire violations recorded in just 6 months in South Sudan. Third, we will discuss about all the service suspended in Panjshir County in United States. And finally, we'll talk about foreign embassies condemning the killing of humanitarian workers in South Sudan. Here, if you are new to Changfied YouTube channel, I would like you to help the channel by subscribing and turn on the notification bell, so whenever we upload a new video, you can be notified. Let's begin our report with UPA ready for new Tumani talk. The United People Alliance, also known as UPA, say it is ready to return to peace talk in Kenya. This follows the earlier Tumani peace process that took place in Nairobi last year. The talk ended without agreement. The new effort is being facilitated by Kenyan leaders under what is being called the Tumani 2 process. The first one was Tumani 1, and this is Tumani 2 initiative. UPA is led by General Paganamum in a letter dated February 13, 2026. The group told the mediation team that they are prepared to participate in the new dialogue. However, they made one strong demand. In that demand, the UPA leader, they want all political prisoners, including first Vice President Dr. Riek Machar, to be released before the talk begin. According to United People Alliance, UPA under Paganamum, releasing political detainees is necessary to create trust and fairness. They believe that meaningful dialogue cannot happen while political leaders remain in detention. United People Alliance said it wants all South Sudanese parties to sit together and agree on how to rescue the country from instability and possible collapse. They say they support an inclusive process. They want equal participation for all groups. They also say they are ready to discuss. They want to discuss ending hostilities, protection of civilians, allowing humanitarian access, stabilizing the country, and preparing for a peaceful election. Now let us look at the background. South Sudan became independent in 2011, but in 2013, political disagreement between President Salva Kiir Mayardit and then first by President Dr. Riek Machar led to civil war. In 2018, leaders signed a peace agreement known as the Revitalized Peace Agreement. A unity government was formed, but implementation has been slow. Elections have been delayed several times. They are now scheduled for December 2026. The Kenyan government under President William Ruto has been supporting dialogue effort. UPA under Paganamum thanks Kenya for continuing to support peace in South Sudan. But as of now, there has been no official public response from the mediation team regarding UPA demand. The key question is this: will political prisoners be released? And will all sides agree to sit down peacefully? Without trust, dialogue becomes very difficult. We will continue to follow this story closely. Our second top story is about 407 ceasefire violation recorded in South Sudan. Now let us move to another worrying development. According to the information, between August 2025 and January 2026, Monitor recorded 407 alleged ceasefire violations. This information was shared by Ceasefire and Transitional Security Arrangement Monitoring and Verification Mechanism, commonly known as CITESAM. The chairperson of the monitoring body, Teshome Nagawe Ayana, said the peace agreement is under serious pressure. Teshome warned that the permanent ceasefire is not holding consistently across the country. He explained that peace agreements are not respected simply because they are signed. They must be respected in practice. According to him, violence in Nasser in March 2025 became a turning point. After that, insecurity spread to several states, including Apanal, Unity State, Western Barghazal, and Jonglei. Before the Nasser incident, direct fighting between the signatory force was limited, but after that, army clash increased between SSPDF and SPLIO and other opposition forces. The monitoring body reported repeated confrontations. That confrontation was between government force and opposition forces, SPLIO. There have been also reports of shifting control of territories. The 407 alleged violations show that insecurity remains a serious challenge in South Sudan. At the same time, the monitoring body itself is facing problems because of reduced donor funding. They had to reduce their team from 6 to 3. Field offices in Ye, Bentiu, and Yambio have been closed. This means fewer monitors on the ground even as violation increase. The monitoring body also reported attack on civilian, ambushes, abduction, and market attack, alleged unlawful killing in the country. There are also concerning reports of aerial bombardment in some areas where the government used gunship to bomb civilians, killing innocent people, burning houses, killing livestock. If verified, this could be serious violation of the ceasefire and international humanitarian law. Sexual and gender-based violence remain a major concern, especially against women and children. Humanitarian access is also being blocked in some areas due to insecurity and illegal checkpoints. The monitoring body is calling on all parties to recommit to the peace agreement and allow full access for monitoring team. Peace cannot survive without commitment from all sides. Now let us move to our next top story. LD service suspended in Panjajir. Now we turn to Unity State. LD service in Panjajir County have been temporarily suspended. The Unity State Minister of LZ announced the decision, saying there were administrative problems and growing security concerns. The suspension took effect immediately and will continue until further notice. The State LZ Minister said the decision was made to protect government staff and partners. All LZ partners operating in the county were ordered to stop their activities. but this decision has raised serious concern. Civil society leaders say the suspension will harm ordinary people. Simon Gadet, a civil society representative in Unity State, confirmed that they received the order. He explained the suspension will affect the community and described it as a violation of the right to health. Residents are also worried. One resident said the suspension will hurt children, elderly people, and women the most. He called on the National Minister of Health to intervene. He said people should not lose access to health care because of political control of an area. Under South Sudan Transitional Constitution, the government is required to promote public health and provide basic medical services. South Sudan is also a party to international agreement that recognize the right to health. Now, the big concern now is this. How long will service remain suspended? And what will happen to vulnerable people during this period? Health care is not politics. Health care is life. And let's move on. We have another top stories. Embassies condemn the killing of aid workers in South Sudan. Finally, we turn to a very painful issue. According to the report, several embassies in Juba have strongly condemned the killing of humanitarian workers in South Sudan. The embassies of Canada, France, Germany, Japan, Kenya, the Netherlands, Norway, the United Kingdom, the United States, and the European Union released a joint statement. They condemned 3 separate incidents. On February 7, a staff member working on UNICEF supported project was killed in Balit County. On February 13, an IMA World Health nurse was killed at his home in Ayut County. And on February 16, a World Food Program contractor was murdered in Nazar County. The embassies describe this attack as unacceptable. They say humanitarian workers risked their life to help the people of South Sudan. They call on the transitional government to end escalating conflict, protect humanitarian workers, hold perpetrators accountable, and ensure safety for aid operations. They also express condolence to the families and colleagues of the victim. When aid workers are killed, it does not only harm families, it harms entire communities that depend on life-saving assistance. Without security, humanitarian workers become impossible. If you are new to this channel, please, I would like you to help the channel by subscribing and turn on the notification bell. So whenever we have a new video, you can be notified. Let's summarize what we hear today. Today's report shows a country at a critical moment. On one side, political groups say they are ready for dialogue. On the other side, ceasefire violations are increasing. Health services are being suspended. Aid workers are being killed. The future of South Sudan depends on leadership, accountability, and commitment to peace. Dialogue must be real. Ceasefire must be respected. Health services must continue. Humanitarian workers must be protected. The people of South Sudan deserve peace. They deserve security. They deserve dignity.